being live streamed. Supposedly we're live. Let's see if I can hear myself on YouTube, if I forgot to mute my YouTube. And if so, I will mute it now. Yes. All right. So dismiss that. Good. All right. So now we're live. Welcome everyone to our Success Mastermind, Monday, the 2nd of May, 2022. You know, today's my mother's birthday. She's a Taurus. Happy birthday to all Tauruses. All the bulls out there. The Taurus is the bull, right? Yeah, it makes sense, right? Toro, El Toro. Yeah, good. I know who's next too. Gemini, which is me. Two of me. There's two of me. Anyway, good to see you all. Wow. A week away. I am back. I had to remember how to set up the things and do the thing on the thing. I see some of my favorite people here in planet Earth and the Milky Way galaxy. None other than Glenn Henderson. Live long and prosper, sir. Missy's here. Catherine, Gail, Lindsay. Got more people. I'm sure will be tuning in. And if you're on YouTube right now, we got some changes coming. This channel, the John Lavenia channel, is going to be repurposed. And we got a separate channel we're going to be doing for the Success Mastermind, which we may actually be changing the name of. Guys, I tell you, we got lots of ideas over this past week. I had time to think. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be expanding, just so you guys know. In fact, we'll probably have a committee meeting about that for our core members here. I want your feedback. I want your input on some stuff, because I think what we're doing here is important work. And I think, the whole point of me starting with this platform was to bring the conversation of success to an ever expanding audience. So it's time for us to expand. All right. It's time for us to do that. Oh, yes. And I got, my friend Missy sent me and Shannon and Trinity gifts. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to, you know what? I don't want to stop my talk right now to go get the gifts, but maybe when we open it up for discussion. Yes, Missy. Thank you. You are a doll. You are like, wow. Custom made coffee mugs directly from Missy. And they weren't broken or anything. They one piece. Anyway, today's Monday, May 2nd. We do have our book study group tonight. And I've been informed that we are still on The Gap and the Gain by Benjamin Hardy, with excerpts from or opinions from Dan Sullivan. And we're going to wrap up that book next week. All right. So read as much as you can today. We're going to do that tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So at least a couple chapters. And then next week, we'll close that book once and for all. So we've had some mixed reviews on it. But according to Lindsay, who I put in charge of the book study group last week, she said we're going to keep on trucking with it and get whatever we can out of that book rather than abort. I will announce, though, our next book. I'll give you guys an advance notice. Are you ready for this? Our next book shall be The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. Traveler's Gift. Anybody ever read that? Oh my goodness. Get ready for a ride. Get ready to go on a ride here. I'm surprised we haven't read it yet. I've done some events with Andy, and great guy, funny guy. Anyway, I'll talk to you more about Andy when we get into his book, but grab yourself a copy of The Traveler's Gift, which is one that I've read multiple times, and it's quite good. That being said, here we are, general session. I got some stuff to share with you guys, and the theme of today is create versus destroy. Create versus destroy. You know, as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about here, and I just wrote it out, because I figured I'd title the video, which is something I don't always do, because I don't know anything about growing a YouTube channel. But create versus destroy. I was immediately thinking of like some of the Hindu deities, right? Vishnu and Shiva and the creator, the destroyer, and different aspects of godness, right? And so that's not what I want to talk with you about today, but it's what popped into my mind. What I want to talk with you about today is the benefits of keeping your friggin' head straight, because you can't create and destroy at the same time. Now, this may not be a breakthrough for some of you, And intellectually, we can intellectualize about it, and it's all very nice. And I've done that plenty of times, but to actually put it into practice is quite a different thing. Now, I confided in my friend Lindsay some weeks ago that I had gone off the rails. See, I've known Lindsay long enough that I could tell her that I'm not perfect, and she won't be shocked. All right. So I said, Lindsay, I ended my night at 2 a.m. watching political commentary and then went right to bed. And she was like, oh no. Oh, she knows that's a blunder. That's an error right there. That is out with you. Don't do that. What did Napoleon Hill say? One of the 4 factors for developing persistence is a mind closed tightly against negative influences. Now, some of the things that I've noticed for myself is that the Brady Bunch. All right, Missy's giving me in the chat. She's giving me suggestions on how to cleanse my mind after having polluted it. Yeah, to wash the brain. I can use a brainwashing. The Brady Bunch will suffice. Thank you. Or a Don Rickles skit. But one of the things that I've noticed about myself is that I have a tendency to, let me put it this way. I get emotionally affected by injustice, as do most people, right? You got a button on that, all right? Look what how unfair. And look, these, crooked, corrupt, injustice. Are these people above the law? And what about these others? Right. And so I can go on a frenzy with that stuff. Right. So now, how many of us when we were kids experienced injustice? Right. All hands are up. Okay. Life isn't fair. Anybody ever heard that? Life isn't fair. I don't know that I ever got done protesting that. I think I'm still protesting that for what it's worth, which isn't much, but I mean, I can protest all I like, but here's the punchline. What am I getting done while protesting? What am I creating while I'm wanting to fight? So in any corporation that's more than just a solopreneurship, okay, you've got different departments, different people man different posts. We've talked about this before. We've intellectualized about this before. And here's the creative, the sales or the, product development or marketing, right? These are creative type departments, right? Create the pitch, write the copy, make the product, pitch the deal, right? And then you've got accounting, legal, right? You've got compliance officers and all this kind of stuff. I deal with some big companies. And they've got people that fight. Okay. In fact, I remember there was somebody was telling, it was a branding guy. He was telling me that Harley Davidson, the company, the brand, they have a whole room full of people monitoring the internet 24 hours a day for any appearance of their name online. Here's the forum. Someone's griping about Harley Davidson. They're, causing negative, PR, and they're on it. Okay, because they protect that brand, which is quite valuable. In fact, how many people who don't even own a motorcycle have a Harley Davidson T-shirt? That's money. Okay, that's money. Protect that brand. Okay, so these are people that are out to, shut things down or to, correct wrongs, injustices, whatever. Okay. Harley Davidson is not perfect. Okay. But they've got a brand to maintain. The point is that those two departments don't mix. Okay. So the legal department that's going after, copyright infringement or something, trademarks, is not the people designing the T-shirts. Two different departments: create, destroy. Can you do both at the same time? No. And here's why I was reminded of this, because I did more than intellectualize about this over the past week. I was unplugged. I didn't even expect to be unplugged. I was informed before we were at a property of a billionaire friend of mine who owns 400,000 acres on an island. Okay, so let me just tell you, by the way, if you ever go to Kauai, the island of Kauai, in Hawaii, the state, the island is infested with chickens and pigs running wild. I'll get you some pictures. Let me see if my photos application it hasn't updated yet. All right, sorry about that. Deal with it. I'll get some pictures on social media, or Shannon, my wife, I'm sure posted some pictures of chickens and pigs. But you know what? For someone to take ownership, literally, with deeds, of more than 1% of an entire island, and it's not like some remote thing, a little rock sticking out of the water in Fiji. It's Kauai, right? It's a one of the major islands of Hawaii. They're playing a bigger game, and I don't mean just, wow, that's a step up. I mean that's like 10 friggin' steps up, 10 steps up. Okay, and you guests here can be in this guest house, one of the mansions. We weren't allowed to take photos for public viewing. Okay, I could show some of you guys privately some stuff, but it's private property. And in addition to the chickens and pigs, there's there's cattle, right, being raised there, lots of grass, and but here's the point. I'm telling you all this. Could you get to that level, or could this guy who's done so well in life and business get to that level if he was trying to do everything himself? All right, I'm creation, I'm destruction, I'm products, I'm sales, I'm legal, I'm this. No. And how often have we diluted our efforts by watching political commentary or whatever? Here's what I resolved. Here's what I realized is that, number one, we've got limited time. So choose well where you spend that attention. You don't get to keep it. You must spend it every second. Where's that attention going? Okay. So choose well, because none of you are going to be walking around in this body forever, just in case you're wondering. Your mission will conclude. Guaranteed. All right. What did Albert Hubbard say? He said, don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive. Okay. So there's that. Okay. And in choosing well, can we also accelerate? We can accelerate those things which matter most and not leave them at the mercy of that which matters least. So here's what I concluded, is that I have not been efficient with my times. What did Ralph Wallace Waddle say? If all your actions are efficient ones, you must get rich. Why have I been kind of plateaued for a while? In case you didn't know, right? I experienced plateaus as well. Why has that been? Because I've been playing a certain level of game, which is comfortable for me to play. It's familiar. Okay, well, you get more of that. Comfort zones suck, right? But having taken a step back, like I mentioned, I didn't even know I was going to be off the grid until they were getting ready to leave. And there was like, well, there's no Wi-Fi and there's spotty internet service on this island and whatever. I will tell you that they didn't even have televisions in the house, like no TVs. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Unless you wanted to watch Star Trek reruns, you'd have to bring your own, computer. But no TVs. The roosters started making noise at 4 a.m. every day. 4 a.m. Sun up at 6. So yeah, I mean, it was a whole different world. By the way, I wouldn't live there. Nice to visit. Waterfalls, hey, nice, right? Eat the fish tacos, hey, get the hell out. So I couldn't live on an island like that. Yeah, well, 4 a.m. wasn't that bad because I'm on Eastern time and they're 6 hours back because they don't do daylight time. So that was 10 a.m. for me in my world. So I was up at 4 every day. That's fine. I didn't even want to get on Hawaii time. I wanted to stay on Eastern time because I knew, I was going to come back to Eastern time and I don't want to have to readjust So I did okay. I got up at 7 today, 7 a.m. Eastern. So not too bad. But anyway, here's what I resolved. Is that if I just got efficient and chose well where I put my attention onto creation and creative considerations, projects, actions, my stats can go up. And what can I do with my increased statistics and earnings and whatever? I can go pay the fighters. Here you go. People fighting injustice. Here you go. Have some money. Because I make money. That's what I do. So know your post. That's what I got out of this. Know your friggin' post. And by knowing your post, you also know what your post isn't. Part of being responsible for how I spend my time, my attention, what have you, is knowing what I'm not responsible for. Life isn't fair. Got it. I had nothing to do with that I can think of consciously anyway. I don't know, do my part anyway. Do my part. Unapologetically do my part. I mean, if it's not going to be fair, well, then let's play to win. Play to win. Not here to play fair. Play to win. And what do I mean by that? Does that mean if you can't beat them, join them? Go be unjust? No, that's not what I'm saying. Go be, two wrongs make a right. No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you were born into a game and you're going to play that game, play to win. What game were we all born into? Well, we could cite a few examples, right? Humanity. There's a game, right? There's relationships, social interactions, right? Via various technologies or lack of technologies, either way. Play that game to win, right? Why is it that there can be people with very little to say, but lots of followers on social media and whatever else, right? They're playing the game, they're playing to win. Can you play that game? Well, so you don't want to play that version of that game. What are some other games that you can play to win? How about business? Right? Look, we've got people who have been spectacularly successful with half of the intelligence of you people in this conversation right now. What did back to Waddles? What did he say? That it's not the determinant, the main determinant of whether or not you get rich is not your intelligence. In fact, a few years later, Napoleon Hill wrote that if you think honesty and hard work alone bring riches, perish the thought. It's not true. Lots of brilliant people who are broke. And some people, they're not very intelligent at all. And they make a spectacular amount of money. Well, what's that about? Well, Napoleon Hill elucidated. He said it's based on definite demands and definite principles. When riches come, they come in response to definite demands backed by the application of definite principles. Back to Waddles, he said, you don't have to, this book is pragmatic, right? He's talking about the science of getting rich. It's not just philosophical, it's pragmatic. You don't have to understand all the underlying philosophies of it. You do it, it works, that's it. I turn on the light switch, lights go on. Now, personally, I do know a bit about electrical theory, okay, but most people don't. They know they click the button and the lights go on. They don't know electrons and conductors and resistors and all that. They don't know. But it still works for them. They get the spoils of victory, even in their state of complete ignorance about what's happening. So here's the question, guys. Do you want the spoils of victory or do you want to fight? You could be right or you could be rich. And I've spent a lot of time asserting my rightness about how unfair. So this is like an epiphany for me. Oh. Can you hear? All right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think the internet just froze up when I did that. Yeah, I think a little internet lightning just happened. By the way, I sat on the tarmac on Saturday night for 2 friggin' hours because of lightning hit in Tampa airport. Yeah. I'm surprised we even got to land there. I'm grateful that we did, not getting diverted to Jacksonville like some planes or whatever. But and we got to sit there and make friends with our neighbors for 2 hours. We survived, in case you're wondering. But the idea here is that we can't create and destroy at the same time. Now, if you're about destruction, which has its uses, okay, then play to win. Destroy as much as you can. Okay, go after the injustices. Go after the corrupt. Do it, do it, do it. Throw yourself at it. But if that's not your full-time gig, I'm going to implore you to give yourself a little mental space. That's what I got this last week. I got mental space. I didn't know what was going on off the island. I knew that the taco place down the street closed at 5-ish. It's kind of interesting. On that island, they're open we open around 9, maybe 10 a.m. and we close in the afternoon. I mean, that's island life, and it is so friggin' slow. Oh my goodness! When I moved to Florida, I was like, it is so slow here. Oh my goodness! It takes a half hour to go like I don't know, 8 miles, and everybody's so slow, and the traffic lights take forever, and the roads are narrower. In Arizona, it's like a damn raceway. Right? 80 miles an hour, bam, bam, bam. And you put it in Waze, how long is it going to take to get there? To the minute, exactly right. In Florida, you put it in Waze, right? I'm going to that destination. And then, all right, you go. And then the clock goes up, and they keep adding time to it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Okay. I just got back to Florida from Hawaii, and I feel like I'm on a racetrack now. Like, it is so slow. It takes an hour to go like 10 miles. There's one road that goes around the island. And that's it. And most of the speed limit is 35. Right? Oh my goodness. And then it's backed up. And you're going through the little village there, the town, right? With the curio shops and there's pedestrians, right? You got to stop and let the friggin' people walk. And are we ever going to get to this place? So don't think it's a paradise. Unless you're a chicken, then it's awesome. It's awesome. You can just run around, crap wherever you want, eat whatever you want, right? Okay. Am I making any sense? I hope so. I guess here's the one thing I'll leave you with too, is that when I'm emotional, I've told you this before, when I'm emotionally up, so are my stats. When I'm down, clouded with counter motives and intentions and injustices and destruction and all my thoughts and considerations about it, emotionally down, anger, fear, despair. How do you think my statistics look then? Guys, you can own this for yourself. I don't know that I'm like unique or whatever. I'm not like some unicorn or something. This is just life. This is maybe I'm just stating the obvious, but I think it needs to be stated, because if somebody who has intellectualized about this stuff for as long as I have can have an epiphany, well, then so can you. I want nothing more than for you to be wildly successful and then fund the people who go and are doing the work that personally I'm not equipped to do. Can't be all things to all people. So decide who you are and then be that fully, unapologetically, and play to win. And with that, I want to hear your thoughts. Who's got thoughts? Missy.
That's a real epiphany for me. It feels like you just did this whole thing for me, because I have been trying to. I love my parents. I love their whole generation. They saved the world more than once. So I just wanted to do something that they would be proud of me for. And the little thing that I am doing, it's a little thing, but it's vital. and it's very significant, and it has a lot of power because it's like its own kind of compound interest as you keep going and going with it. But what you said, get money and fund those who can do the fight. I just, somewhere in my mind, I kept thinking, I've got to go and put the rope around,
Mhm.
and I know it sounds stupid now that I'm even saying that, but it was in me that I wasn't really consciously aware that that's what I literally wanted to do. And it was keeping me from doing what could be much more effective, or holding me back a little from being much, much more effective, because I ain't Patton and I can't pretend I'm General Pat. That's not
Mhm.
so, but I can make a lot of money and fund those who do. And that gives me almost like a new view of life, of what I can do here, because it's so important to me to do something for our country,
Mhm.
something significant. And now I have a new paradigm. Should I say that?
Sure.
And I want to thank you for that, because it seems so simple. I should have thought of it myself, but sometimes you just need somebody else to put it out there for you. So thanks again.
Thank you, Missy. Wow. Yeah, you could do a lot more good with money than you can without. So thank you for that. Where's Glenn? Let's get Glenn out here.
Reverend Lavenia, you're looking tanned and relaxed. And,
Do I look tan?
well, there's pink anyway.
Oh.
a little like sun. Yeah, it was funny hearing you talk about how slow you had to drive. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, wait, let me guess. You're from New Jersey, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but New Jersey too is slow. Like I remember when I lived there, the Garden State Parkway, which is
Oh, yeah.
probably the nicest road in the country. I mean, it's perfect. The pavement, it could be a racetrack, but it was 55-mile-an-hour speed limit the whole time I lived there. And they enforced it. It was like serious, like state troopers were like, oh, you were doing 59. Like what? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do 80 on that road and be perfectly safe, I think. Anyway, that's my
Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah, Utah and Arizona and Montana, that's where you want to drive.
Yeah.
Man, that's the place.
Well, see, here's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out in a place like Texas, where there are stretches of road out here where the speed limit is 80.
Right.
I'm
in
thinking,
Texas. Yeah,
how
just like
freaking
Utah.
fast do you have to drive in Texas to get pulled over for speeding? For crying out loud.
No,
Anyway.
I was driving, sorry, tangent everyone, but when we were moving out here,
Yeah.
I-10, right, all the way across Texas, we got to Eastern Texas, the Houston area, there was a lot of construction going on, road improvements and what have you. But they had, the barriers and such, very little space, okay? And I think the speed limit was still 55 through the construction zones. And we had semis going past us like 20 over, like it was nothing. A bit, a bit intense.
Yes. Okay. This topic is really interesting to me because I think, in a way, John, you and I have some of this in common. I'm generally a pretty easygoing person, emotionally, mentally. People, who hang out with me, this is a pretty chilled out guy. But inside, I outrage very easily, if we can use that word as a verb. You know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. I outrage pretty easy. I mean, I generally keep it to myself, but I have noticed, as you were saying, you said, how did you say it? When I'm emotionally up, my stats are up. This guy. And I think there's even another dimension to this whole thing of make the money and then fund the fighters. Hey, that's like a alliteration. Make the money and then fund the fighters. I know of people who have decided, and here's the other dimension, have decided, well, come on, man. I mean, haven't you read the papers? You see the news? I mean, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. I mean, what's the point? It's all going to be death and doom and destruction and everything, and we're all going to be, so why bother? Right? Why bother trying? And I have literally seen that frame of mind cripple people from moving forward and accomplishing their desired results and things of that nature. So I think it's important for me, certainly, and for all of us, I'm sure, to bear in mind, just because there are apparently negative trends or displeasing trends in the world generally and in society in general, doesn't mean that I have to go along with it. One of my favorite sayings, and I'll shut up after this, one of my favorite sayings, and I quote this to people every election day, every election cycle here in the U.S., always remember, always, please vote, civic duty, but please remember that the decisions that are made in the White House are nowhere near as important as the decisions that are made in your house. So I have decided that, I have my belief, I know what I believe, what I think is right and why, and in the meantime, I write books, and I host a TV show, and I build smoker pits, and I help people get from where they are to where they want to be. And that's my lane, and I'm staying in it. Back to you, John.
Wow. Stay in your lane. We could have summed up the whole talk with that. So now, of course, the other protest to that would be, but no, right? Look at all this other stuff in the other lane. I don't multitask. I focus, and I look at everything I've been successful at with in different areas of life. It's because it's become, as Napoleon Hill talked about, a white hot obsession. And that's for me. Okay. Now, I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs talk about how they have ADD, which is some psychiatric label that, gets people to buy pharmaceuticals. Okay. But, I have ADD. And I don't even really know what that means. Neither does the psychiatric community. But what that supposedly means is that your attention goes from that to that to that to that. Okay. And I would argue that anyone would be more successful if they just stayed in their lane, decided who they are, be that fully, unapologetically, play to win, right? And then diversify, sure, add other methods and enterprises and whatever, not the Starship Enterprise, but, since Glenn's here. But if we look at anything we've ever been successful at, we took it all the way full cycle to a done, right? I decided to eat breakfast, and I put the cereal in the bowl, and I put the food in my mouth, and then I clean the bowl and put it away. Done. Success. Complete. Anything I've not succeeded at, I either never started or never finished. That's it. Right? Now, if you do lots of little projects, well, then it could seem like you multitask. But any project that comes to a done is a complete. And for that requires focusing at least to the point of completion. To me, I'll state that to you as a mathematical certainty. Like it's right up there with 2 + 2 is 4. Although even if people debate that now, my goodness, all this postmodern relativism, basically nihilism, destruction of Western civilization. But anyway, you see where I just went with that, Missy? See that? Okay, great. 2 + 2 can't equal 4 anymore. All right. Glenn says, I do one thing at a time. I do it very well. And then I move on. Good. So what do you guys want to do? You want to get focused? You want to create? Stop diluting yourself with things that you can't have an immediate effect with anyway. Oh, you can. I mean, you can go ahead and make a pile of money and fund whatever causes you want to fund. You could do that. Right? But you're not going to do that if you're diluted. I want full strength elixir right here. Lindsay, sign me up for the full strength elixir. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts on this today? I think one other saying, and then we'll go to Catherine. One other saying is, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Is that another way to look at this? So stand, right? Make a damn decision. Do it. Catherine, your thoughts?
You actually kind of stole what I was going to say. I said that to my sons the other day. You got to stand for something. So no real deep thoughts on this. I just wanted to say thank you. This is very timely.
You're welcome, my friend. I'm excited. You're just getting started. We got lots more game with you. All right, good times. Glenn?
It reminded me of a line from a movie, but you know how my brain works. So yeah, there was a line, a movie where one character says, a very accomplished businessman says to his ne'er-do-well brother, he says, you've studied instruments you don't play, languages you don't speak, blah, 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 this, that, you never date anyone for very long. He says, you're a grown man, David. Finish something. So focus, right? Follow one course until successful. John, you've punched me in the face yet again. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir. Anytime. All right, my friends. 9:00 tonight. 2 more chapters of The Gap and the Grown, the Gain. The Gap and the Gain. I see you, Lindsay. All right, guys. Missy?
What chapters? It's
I don't care. Just
what
read.
chapter? Nobody knows.
Lindsay, what chapters are we on?
I don't know.
He was in charge last time.
Intro 1, 4 and 5 or 5. I don't know. Is that right? 4 and 5 or 4?
Yeah, so just go to the end of the book and then go back 4.
All right, I'll reverse engineer it.
There you go.
Quick summary.
And get yourself a copy of a good book called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. And
Already
get
got
ready
mine.
for the ride of your life. All right, guys, we shall adjourn. I'll see you all back at 9 p.m. Eastern.